Thanks, Rob. Lots of parents have to buy laptops as their kids head off to college, and plenty of younger kids use them in class. This morning we have a warning about identity theft from our internet expert, Dave Hatter of Libertas Technologies. And identity theft is getting more and more prevalent, Dave. It's
a serious problem. The FTC said that over 9.9 million Americans last year were victims of identity theft. And you know, thieves realize the power of the information. They don't really care about the hardware because, you know, notebook computers are relatively expensive now. They want to steal your information so they can pretend they're you and get loans or take out credit cards or whatever in your name.
Is it easier for thieves if you're using a laptop, or is it only if you're using wireless?
Well, it's all about, once you're connected to any network, you're certainly at some amount of risk. And then when you go on a wireless network, particularly like some of these free places, they don't necessarily always have the protection in place that keeps people from being able to see the information that you're sending back and forth. You know, when you're wireless, it's just like a radio transmitter or a TV transmitter. You're sending information, in this case, back and forth, and it's possible for someone who is in the general vicinity to see your information that's being sent back and forth.
So kids going off to college and having their first laptop, they might not even realize something like that.
Yeah, you need to protect the laptop, because if you have personal information on there, social security number, bank account, anything like that, thieves are more interested in stealing your notebook to get the information in it nowadays than they are in the machine itself, because the value of the hardware is relatively limited. But if they can become you, they can take out an account and suddenly you're on the hook for thousands, tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So,
do you have any idea what some of the signs are that your identity's been stolen, some things you should look for?
Well, it's hard to say for sure. In some of the sites we put together here, we've got the Federal Trade Commission, we've got the Department of Justice. You know, they all have pages where they talk about identity theft and things to look out for. It's hard to say for sure. You know, you need to check your bank account statements regularly. It's a good idea to get a credit report at least once a year. All the anti-identity theft places will tell you should go to all the 3 major credit bureaus and get a credit report so you can see if accounts have been taken out in your name. There's all these new services like LifeLock and, you know, various other services where when you sign up, they kind of monitor these things for you and they guarantee that your identity won't be stolen. But one of the key things is making sure that you don't let your personal computer or any kind of device, even like a smartphone. You might have bank account information because you've accessed it remotely on there. You want to keep track of where that stuff is and not let it get away. And then if you're going to use wireless, make sure that you do it in a secure way. There's a way to use encryption, and it gets kind of technical in setting it up, but if you're, generally speaking, I would say if you're out in a public setting, I would not use any kind of banking or anything where there's sensitive personal information being sent over wires.
Don't purchase things online,
right?
Anything like
wait
that.
Till you get home, and hopefully your home network is set up right, and you could find, you know, technicians that can come help you ensure that it's set up right, so that you're not potentially literally just blasting this stuff out in space and have someone who's sitting right next to you who looks very innocuous, drinking their coffee or whatever, who's trying to suck this stuff down.
How about a final word about social networking sites? I mean, it seems like
they're
more
very
and more
popular.
people are getting on those every day. People of all ages now.
That's a serious risk. I mean, I'll admit I'm a huge fan of LinkedIn myself. That's a risk because many of them, they ask you for a lot of personal information, and if you expose too much personal information about yourself, it makes it easier for someone who wants to pretend like they're you, know the right information to do that. So you need to be careful what you put out there. Certainly don't put out, you know, real personal information that would allow someone to pretend they're you, like your birth date, mother's maiden name, those kinds of financial-oriented security questions.
Good. Dave Hatter, thanks a lot for the information.
Anytime.
You can get a hold of Dave at Libertas Technologies, and we have a link at our website, fox19.com. Frank Marzullo has a look at our weather in just a moment on the Fox 19 Morning News, and we'll check out the traffic with Bruce Davis. Stay right here.